Right. I've just watched a few of Barry's economics videos, and as a brief aside, I did get a little bit of sleep. My clothes were delivered, blah, blah, blah. Um, and I'm now watching uh, a video of his, pause for effect, Jacob Rees-Mogg illusion video, and it's him kind of reacting and talking about this Jacob Rees-Mogg person who is also English, and he is a super aristocrat guy in a mansion who owns a mansion, and he's such a kind of that, and this is blah, 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 blah. This guy in his chair with his nice suit, and you watch the video of Barry's economics. He shows the video that talks about, and it's just like, wow, it is that kind of British guy. And he's got a painting in the bag. He's got a nice lamp. Oh my God, it's so like, dude, you're not self-aware. Barry says he's not self-aware, but like he is not self-aware about like, it's just like, look at my apartment. Look at Barry, who is one step above me, and this dude is like 10 steps above in material standards above me. I think I am on his level intellectually, but dude is just like, you are a peasant. It's just like, wow. And keep in mind that when I say I'm on his level intellectually, my brain is mush compared to what it used to be before all these seizures. So Jacob Rees-Mogg, wow. Seriously. I've lost 1 or 2 standard deviations in my intelligence. Standard deviations, not IQ points. And if you don't know what that is, Google it or something. Smart people know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I mean, immediately in true form of cliche blah, the guy jumps to class warfare, and I'm like, all right, I gotta make a video and talk about this. So, because in Barry's economics, he talks about wealth tax and stuff. Because Barry is like, it's like a parody channel, but at the same time, it's like an homage channel of Gary's economics, of wealth taxation. And Gary is not like derisive of him. He actually likes when people take on the fight, because it is a fight. It's supposed to be a collective fight. That's what we need. We need everybody working together against this, because it is class warfare, and we need a class war. I often say it is the only war that we need to fight. It is the only war that we have been fighting, I say, for 6,000 years, for 10,000 years since the start of agriculture. It's the only fight that we've ever needed to fight since the beginning of private property. We've needed to fight private property and the inheritance, the concept of generational inheritance of private property. Because when you have private property and generational inheritance, you get the snowball effect of generational wealth. And black people in America know this all too well. I mean, they are the quintessential example of this. That if after slavery they would have been given a fair shot, right now, the country, this day, right now, this country, especially the South, would look so dramatically different. But the country as a whole would look so different. And even if after the GI Bill would have been implemented equally, and all the stuff in the GI Bill, the housing and all of that shit would have been implemented equally, today the country would be very different. But the stuff wasn't implemented equally, fairly, blah, blah, blah. It was implemented unequally. Because, even today, in a lot of ways, in a lot of places, white people kind of don't. They're still kind of afraid of black people, to be honest. I mean, makes us a little uneasy. Kind of makes me uneasy still, a little bit, at first. And I think black people are kind of afraid of white people too. I mean, to be honest, if black people are truly honest with themselves, I think you're kind of afraid of white people too. I mean, man for man you're not, but you're kind of afraid and a little confused about white people and white culture. Too, especially in the South. I mean, just me personally, every time I come out of my apartment, my neighbors are black. Every time I come out of my apartment, if their door is open, they shut the door. They either are afraid of me or they just don't like me. And I don't know why. I've never been anything but nice. I don't know. It's a little insulting, honestly. That isn't a penny? I thought that was a penny. Whatever. So, yeah. Maybe they just don't want to have a white friend. They just don't want to be like, he's the weird white guy. Which, okay, then, fine. I'm okay with that. But, yeah. Getting back to the class war thing, I still think that's a bad argument, and on top of that, it's a distraction that too many poor people fall for and are like, well, we don't want to, be a part of a class war. I don't want to be that poor guy. It's like, you should want to be that poor guy. You definitely want to be that poor guy. What happened to the 50s and 60s guys who wanted to be in a union and wanted to fucking, stick it to the boss and be like, and the boss's boss, the owner, and be like, you're gonna give me a raise, you're gonna give me vacation day, you're gonna give me health care, or all of us aren't gonna fucking work. What happened to those guys? I mean, what happened to those guys? And they turned into, well, please don't fire us. We need to buy things. Why did their dads not raise them to, realize and be like, all right, you gotta be in a union. And like, my dad was in a union. My dad was an asshole and I hated him and like all this stuff. But my dad was in a union and I believe in fucking unions. All right. Like, seriously, you gotta fucking have a union. All right. What is all these people that are just like, unions are bad, you gotta pay dues and blah, 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 blah. I pay taxes and blah, 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 blah. All these things out of your paycheck. Like, union dues are there for a reason. The union sticks up for you. Why do you think policemen and firemen still have unions? Like, my opinion is like, all right, you want to get rid of unions? Get rid of fucking police unions and fire unions too. Oh, you want to keep those unions? Really? Politicians are like, oh no, we can't get rid of those unions. Ask your fucking self why the politicians want to keep and fight to keep the police unions. Just ask yourself that fucking question. I think, let me answer that question for you. It's because the police protect the politicians and the other rich people. The second the politicians say, yeah, fuck the police union, I think you're going to find that the police are going to be like, yeah, we're not playing your game anymore. Maybe we're not going to patrol that neighborhood as much. The response time is going to go down by about 75%. I was busy. I was eating a sandwich. Well, the fire department was busy doing training sessions. Sorry, your house burned down. Oops. What can you do? See? Don't fuck with the union. So, yeah. You can't do class warfare. And, and they also say the excuse of, oh, the union caused higher prices and we need to move the factories overseas and all that stuff. Well, that's moving. It took time to build the factories, first of all. So yeah, it's going to take time to build factories here, but we don't need to make everything here too. We don't need to reshore everything here. We don't want to reshore everything. And yeah. You think China makes everything, every single thing? One. China's population is is almost almost to the point, it's like almost middle class entirely by now. They don't want the Chinese population. They don't want to work in shitty factories anymore. I can tell you that. I just know that the 20-year-old Chinese person average, because the 50-year-old Chinese, 55-year-old Chinese worked in a factory. And they worked in a factory so that they could send their kid to school and college. And that person that has an education now, they want to use that. You don't work, you don't put yourself through college to go, I'm gonna make sneakers now. Yay! No, don't fucking do that. No, don't settle for that job. At the least, you go, all right, maybe. Maybe I'll do customer service at Best Buy in the electronics department while I look for my job. You're not going to work in a factory for 12 hours a day stitching together sneakers for the rest of your life. Nah. So the Chinese are, they're going to be middle class. And if the Chinese leadership doesn't find serious amounts, I'm talking 50 million, middle to high paying quality jobs for that entire generation, they're going to collapse. You know? So they got to offshore. They need another market for all of their sneakers type jobs, all of their shitty factory jobs. Or they got to, automate. So they're going to send all those shitty jobs somewhere else, just like America did. And at the same time, they're going to automate. They're going to find a way to automate all those shitty jobs. So while they're sending it offshore, they're going to find a way to automate as many of those shitty jobs as possible. That's what I would do, because you can only send those jobs around the world until there's no more world to send those jobs to. And China, leadership has to be aware of this, because I am. America has been doing this. Mexico and Sri Lanka, blah, blah, blah. Now it's in China to go. We're almost the last place, to do it to. So China's like, we're basically the last place. I mean, we're not the last place, but we're one of the lasty places to do it to. And now it's in Africa and stuff. So we are forced with the problem of we have to figure out how to automate high dexterity stitching and shit to make this stuff. And, that's why Crocs are around and all of this complex garbage. That's why China are going to be the ones to figure out how to make Nike sneakers, not Snickers, and maybe Snickers too. Nike sneakers with fully automated robotic automation lines. China's going to figure out to do it. Not because they want to, but because they have to. Because there's nowhere else to fucking send off the shitty jobs to. And because if they don't, their fucking empire is going to collapse. It's a matter of necessity, not desire. And meanwhile, Trump's building a ballroom. And we voted for this guy. Not we, 100% of the country. We, 47%. Actually, it's more like 20%. And that 20% convinced enough of the country that we're like stuck with this asshole. But you know, I have faith in America. You know why I have faith in America? Because we won World War II with help of others, of course. When we were kind of looked down upon as a pathetic nothing fighting force. Still, and you know, every time everybody writes us off. Everybody always writes us off, and sometimes we write ourselves off, and we always fucking rise to the occasion. So that's why I have faith in America. Every fucking time, everybody fucking discounts us as a country. We always rise to the occasion, and I think this is just another case where everybody's just gonna say they're done. No. It's just another fucking time where everybody is going to be fucking wrong about America. I think we're even going to surprise ourselves. Again. But, you know, first we got to get rid of Trump. Because seriously, and we got to get rid of the racist people. All the people that support Trump diehard style. Because it's just like, man, you guys are fucked. You guys are crazy. And, you know, the religious people that are backing him too. And, you know, the Doge people. Department of Governmental Efficiency. I'll give you governmental efficiency. You gotta get rid of these fanatic capitalists. Governmental efficiency is taxing the shit out of rich people and making all these billionaires see that, you know, concentrating wealth in the hands of one person is a bad idea. It's like, oh, you want to be a billionaire? Hitler wanted to be a billionaire too. And he was bad at it. So, you know, well, there you go. You know, a lot of people that want money and that much money almost always suck at managing the money. And a lot of people that don't want large sums of money and power are usually much better at managing money and power. It's pathetic, really. Yeah. That all these dingbat assholes that have all these resources are just so shitty at using them and have no ability to see the opportunities that they have. I mean, Musk is doing an okay job, at least. Okay. You know, the you know, Musk, Bezos, and whatever. They're doing an okay job, but it's doing an okay job with billions of dollars is not good enough. when you have that many billions, I mean, that's just not good enough. I, I don't even know if they really actually have that many billions because that's their valuation. When their valuation is that high, I really think it's really extremely inflated. I don't know how much they could uh, give away, but while the dollar still actually has some value, they really need to start throwing money in the direction of some people that uh, have some real vision, because the dollar is not going to have much use for much longer. They got to start throwing it out to some people that'll do something wonderful, do something magnificent with it, because they put their oomph behind Trump, and Trump is fucking it. He's fucking the glory hole, and the glory hole don't got no glory. And meanwhile, you see these inroads that China is making all over, and part of the way they're doing it is, you know, they have all they're stealing technology too. They're stealing the IP. So since they're so willing to just steal intellectual property, maybe the idea of intellectual property needs to be just abandoned. If China is so willing to just hack everything, China and Russia are just willing to hack the internet and steal intellectual property, maybe we shouldn't have intellectual property anymore. If if there's nothing to steal, then there you go. If you open source knowledge, then they can't get ahead of the game. That's one of my things. You sign intellectual property open sourcing with every country all over the Western Hemisphere, and you say all of us will do universal research integration, fluid research integration between everyone, between the United States companies and every Western company. It'll be completely open sourced, and you know, any company that hides resources, that hides knowledge, will not get funding from any government, whatever. But if you open source it to this, the internet, on your energy and whatever, so that not only your company, but civilians, the average person like me, can just access it and do research in their garage. Then your company will get funding. All you got to do is apply. If you do that, then there you go. China's hackers, they, they got no power anymore. You take away their power. They have to use their, I mean, then they have to use their resources elsewhere. or they don't. And also, hopefully, you can inspire people in the Western Hemisphere to crack the Chinese databases. Or put a call out to the Chinese companies to do the same thing. I would prefer that it would be worldwide for these technologies to be worldwide open source, honestly. To be a worldwide research, a singular worldwide research database. That's what I hope. That's what I would hope for. It'd be a worldwide collective research database where everyone, every individual, and every company would be able to work collectively instead of, every company having their own proprietary blah blah. I know that means that, well, ours, by the time we get it on the production line, it's sorely outdated. It's like, well, that's going to be just how it is. It's going to be just how it is. That's fine. You have to, because eventually, I think a solution will be developed for even that problem if we deal with that. If they, everyone does what I just said about a worldwide research thing, but like I said, basically making CCP put 10,000 hackers, whatever, put all those resources into fucking breaking into protected servers and shit. When we should be all kind of working together on certain things. Anyways, whatever, that's kind of a tangent to it, but it's just something I think maybe military stuff should be, for the time being, protected, but I hope one day will be a unified world without all this garbage fighting, especially the Russia-Ukraine thing and the Israel turning into fucking Nazi Germany. Which, yes, I did just compare Israel to Nazi Germany because it's sad what Israel is doing, not just to Palestine, but to everything else, everybody else in the area that they're attacking. It's very sad because The Jews have a history of the Holocaust, and they've been waving that Holocaust card around ever since it happened as some kind of like, you know, like black people doing America. Like, nah, I'm black. Remember, I'm black. You can't do this because I'm black. Black people, black people, black people. Jews have been like, remember the Holocaust, remember the Holocaust, remember the Holocaust. And it's just like, yeah, I don't think you get to play that card anymore. Like that time is over now because fucking what Netanyahu is doing. I think that's done now. I think that shit is, yeah, I don't think you can do that anymore. So, because I think the Arabs are really liking this, really eating this up. What's fucking happening? Because like world sentiment is really shifting in their favor. I mean, they're still terrorists, but when they're getting fucking murdered, and bombed by not America, it's like, we were fucking bombing the shit out of them kind of indiscriminately. It's like, damn, it is kind of fucked up. It's like, when it's not us, it provides a little bit of perspective. When it's not us, it's like, oh yeah, that is kind of fucked up. I get it now. I think Netanyahu, I think Netanyahu's trying to do it as quick as possible so he can grab some land, maybe grab some land, some resources, maybe set up some factories and stuff. So he doesn't need America as much. But I also, I don't know how true this is, but I think Netanyahu isn't really all that liked in Israel himself. I think there are protests in Israel against what the government is doing and also against Netanyahu himself. I don't know how true that is, how thorough how big those protests are. I don't know. I really don't know. I hear about them. I hear about that kind of sporadically and stuff. I don't know how, as a soldier, you could, as like a soldier, as a sniper, you could sit from your sniper's nest or whatever and just shoot children. I don't know how you could do that. Even if, you've had rockets and stuff, rockets and grenades hurled randomly into your community or neighborhoods for the past 10 years. It would make it easier to shoot adults, like maybe in the head, do like headshots or something to tell yourself, well, I'm getting rid of like the enemy, like I'm doing it for my country, but kids, I, I don't know, that seems, I don't know, that a kid, really? That just seems like a little bit of crossing the line. I don't know. Maybe it's that whole like once you do your first kill, it just gets easier and easier after that. The first one's the hardest kind of thing. Plus peer pressure. Plus living in the Middle East is totally different from living across the ocean, being totally sheltered. It's just totally different. Plus they have a military culture. Everyone joins. It's very hard to be exempted from service in Israel. So I've gotten way off the class warfare thing. Yeah, class warfare. It's a good thing. You gotta tax the rich. You gotta tax the rich. I am not rich at all. My sister and her husband, let me disclose this. My sister and her husband, they even, okay, what would that make my sister's husband? What would that make his relation to me? That's not a step brother, right? Brother-in-law. That's what that is, right? Yeah. Brother-in-law. Even he is not from a rich family. Their family is like working middle class, I guess. So they're not rich, really. I mean, they're middle class, and all of their assets are like middle class-ish. They're like another generation or two away from being lower upper class, something like that. From having constantly, generationally transferring wealth, and maybe one or two of those families after being, tens of millionaires, something like that. My sister and her husband don't have any kids. If they had kids, they would have a lot less money. Well, they take vacations and stuff. They spend a lot of money on stuff that they don't need because they don't have kids. If they had kids, they would probably not have as much stuff, and their house would probably be smaller. So, I mean, maybe that's offset. So, I don't know. Because he has a pretty good job, and she did work for a while. She doesn't work now. So I'd say they're gonna be by the time. Let's see, she's like 4 years older than me. Makes her 47. He's about the same age, 47. So he might retire in 10, 15 years. That's another $1.5, $2 million. Yeah, they're going to be pretty comfortable by then, because all of their stuff is going to keep compounding. So they're going to be pretty comfortable by then. So they're not going to be upper class. I don't know exactly where the lines are, but they're going to be somewhere in the upper middle, lower upper class, somewhere where those lines are. And they're going to be good aunts and uncles. Not to me, because I'm never going to be able to get married. Women are not going to like this ugly mug. But to his brothers and sisters, I don't know. Whoever that is. They're going to be able to give lots of gifties to those kids. A new car! Anyways. Probably not have personal conveyances by that time. Demolition Man. But yeah, they'll be fine. And that's where they are. Me, I'm on disability. This apartment I'm in, like I said before, this is bigger than I need. I have 2 rooms this size. So this is plus a kitchen and a bathroom. So this is probably 1.5 times the space that this is probably double the space that I need, but 1.5 times the space that would make me comfortable, I would say. So I'm good to go. And I have more stuff than I require, really, to make me happy. So I'm fine. I'm a cheap date. I really, I'm easy to please. Some people are not easy to please. Some people you need to get them a new piece of jewelry every other day in order to make them feel complete. Because of the way I grew up, they were poor, and I mean poor. I got presents on Christmas and my birthday, and no toys, almost ever. So I had to self-flagellate or whatever. I had to learn to imaginate myself. But when I finally got something that was interesting, I had to be content with just my tree swing or whatever. So I am. If you're raised rich, I think raised spoiled, and then you're raised spoiled, and you need something new every 5 minutes. You need your ballroom keep coming back to Trump's ballroom. I don't know how anybody can I think that ballroom is going to be the thing that takes him down more than anything. Uh, like he's building a ballroom, and that's what it's supposed to look like, a golden ballroom. The golden jet wasn't enough. He needs a golden ballroom. I'm struggling to get food, and the guy needs a golden. He's already president. He's a billionaire, and he needs a golden ballroom that I'm paying for. Like Obama didn't need a golden ballroom. Biden didn't need a golden ballroom. This asshole needs a golden ballroom. I need a golden. These are my balls. You know, because people around here in these small towns are probably not going to be like, I don't even give a shit about the fucking Mexicans. Fuck you and your golden ballroom. Fuck the Mexicans and shit. And that dude is ripping down part of the White House to do it. He didn't ask anyone. He's ripping down part of the White House to do it. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that shit? Who what contractor is just like, yeah, I'll do that. That sounds reasonable. I'm going to tear down a monument. Because that's what the White House is. It's more than just like the president's house. It's a monument to the nation. It's a symbol of the country. Sure, let's just blow up Florida. The entire state of Florida. Let's just blow it up. And build, I don't know, a zoo. Where all we have are walruses. Why walruses? I don't know. Because they're nice and useless for America. You're just destroying a part of the fucking White House. And what if that ballroom gets finished and that wing of the White House is gone, what are we gonna do? How is that gonna be rectified? I'll tell you how that's gonna be rectified. Every one of Trump's family is gonna be. We're not even gonna sue him. The next president better just be like, we're not even gonna sue you. All your money is gone. I don't care where you have it hidden. We're taking everything you have. And we're fixing everything that Trump fucked up. All your money is gone. We're not even taking you to court. We're just fucking taking it. That's it. Or, and we'll give you this choice. SpaceX fucking rocket is done. You can be the first ones to try it out. What do you want to do? Yeah, you know, the ones that have the perfect operational record. You know, so either it blows up or you're the colonists on Mars. You can be legends. The first people on Mars. It only takes 3 months. It'd be like that family, uh, Lost in Space family. Yeah. I accidentally paused it. So we got some stoppies. Hold on. I am going to really pause it now. I'll take a piss. All right. Well, whatever. I'm thinking, winking, blinking, blinking. All right. Well, so yeah, that's what's going on with life. That's 1:13 p.m. pre-menstrual syndrome life. I don't know. So it's a general call to arms these days. And you know, for America, we all gotta be in this fight. It can't just be standard Democrats doing this. It's got to be people who have been lifelong Republican conservative voters, um, deciding to I wouldn't say change or wake up. I would say take a firm look at the representative that they want to vote for. If necessary, do some research, some back research on what that representative has voted for, what they said they were going to do before they were elected, and then what they did afterwards. Um, Maybe now that you have time because you don't have a job, check with the county hall records. Maybe you have an internet connection. You can also do that. Just all those kinds of things. And not just listen to Fox or Newsmax or whatever, but actually look at it. And then if you find my guy has been lying to me, my guys have been lying to me, the Republicans, the party has been lying to me. Go into the church, the cafe, whatever is the meeting hall, the men's club, the bar, and talk to the people that will listen to you and the people that won't listen to you, and tell them straight up, I did the research. Maybe if you can, make copies of the research. and show it to him plain as day. Here are the records. Here's what he said. Here's what he voted for. Boom, slam it down. You can't deny it. These guys are liars. Time and time again. Liars, liars, liars. Fox News is not telling you the truth. They're simply telling you what you want to hear. And they're propagandists. And that does not mean that I am saying the Democrats are angels or anything. We all know that Democrats are very little pepper left. Democrats are victims of neoliberalism, which is basically an appeasement agenda for rich billionaires. It means give us your money and we'll do almost nothing, as well as other things, but that's a good summation of it. I don't even really like calling it neoliberalism because that's just a bad term. But some people are trying to grab hold of the Democratic Party and kind of steer it back to what it used to be, which was a party of fighting for commoners. So that seems to be good. Fox News and CNN and all of the media is kind of really, everyone basically is kind of fighting against Zoran Mamdani and all the people that are, social democrats and socialists and communists and stuff. Nobody likes communists. They're still on the communist thing. They're still like, communists are bad. It's like, okay, well, why exactly are communists bad? You need to start thinking about things instead of just taking everything for granted. It's like Russian communism was bad because of certain things. Every government needs to be looked at in isolation and with its own set of context and everything. So, very well. Communism is bad. Marxism is bad. Bad, 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 bad. Everything is bad. Everything is bad except Americanism. Okay, well, I like that you go to church and you just think you know everything from church. Okay? But let's try and have a little bit more of an open mind here. Try to not base everything off of one book or stuff we get from 2 to 4 hours a day. Maybe 2 days. I don't know. Some people go to church 2 days a week. That seems like too much church. And I recently, well, not recently only, but they talk. It's too much analyzing of the Bible. It's a text. It's a book written by people. You need to do more walking and more thinking. You need to use your brain and your brain and your heart and your soul. And I tried to tell one of the guys that he needs to throw his book away. He did not like that. He did not like that idea at all. I could tell in his face. He didn't say anything to me, but I could tell in his face he didn't like that concept. You need to throw your book away. You throw your book away and talk to God with this, with your body and your mind, and with this. You don't reach God. You don't reach God with the Bible. It's not the way. And you definitely don't do it through your preacher or your priest. No. Burning bush or any of that shit. So anyway, it's another tangent, and it's another thing. All right, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go. I don't know, play Stellaris or something. My phone just beeped too. It's probably Newsmax. Yes, I am subscribed to Newsmax. Still, I haven't bothered to unsubscribe. So tax the rich, kneecap the rich, and boobs out to all the people.